Okay, I think we can just. Why don't we just jump to the 74 if we have question, anything, comment on the previous truth, the truth of the cause of the origin of suffering, and then we can discuss a little bit. I mean, I hope that today we can finish of chapter 3, the four truths. Okay. Okay, let's just move to page 74. We're still reading the book, The Foundations of Buddhism, written by Rupert Gethin. Now we come to the third paragraph, the cessation of suffering, nirvana. Okay. Anyway, so before we start to read, I need to say something about that first a little bit. In general, people, of course, everybody know. I mean, especially people who are interested in Buddhism, even people who are not necessarily 100% interested in Buddhism, they know there's a term called nirvana in Buddhism, and they know that the Buddha attained nirvana, of course. Anyway, but not many people in general, my understanding when I talk to people, that they link the nirvana understand with the Four Noble Truths. Okay, and now this is a good. When you read this paragraph, I think it's a calling to attention too, to when we say nirvana. No, do we have to include Four Noble Truths or not include Four Noble Truths? Okay, and because this is really make a huge difference. Especially people who are come from learning from only from the like a Mahayana perspective. So it's almost like a Four Noble Truths sometimes, even though it's everywhere mentioned about Four Noble Truths, but it's almost like it's not exist. It's like almost like oblivion to in the context when you read that thing. I mean, anyway, so just let you to know that you can pay a little attention on that perspective, because since this book was written, even though might have some awareness of people might have different understanding of certain thing, and I think Rupert really put it nicely, and explain what are they. But then something that definitely because he doesn't come from like a Chinese background, so I mean there's some other thing I would just ask, since we have few Chinese people who might learn Buddhism strongly from the background, and then just call your attention and, what are they, and whether the question is nirvana linked to the Four Noble Truths when we talk about nirvana, okay? Okay, now let's just first, definitely we need to, I think we would jump some certain paragraph because for the time reason, okay? And okay, and anyway, the first thing we need to read also, anyone want to start? Maybe you can start here now. I think that would be easier, yeah. In the normal course,
In the normal course of events, our quest for happiness leads us to attempt to satisfy our desires, whatever they be. But in so doing, we become attached to things that are unreliable, unstable, changing, and impermanent. As long as there is attachment to things that are unstable, unreliable, changing, and impermanent, there will be suffering. When they change, when they cease to be what we want them to be, try as we might to find something in the world that is permanent and stable, which we can hold on to and thereby find lasting happiness, we must always fail. The Buddhist solution is as radical as it is simple. Let go of everything. In craving is the cause of suffering. Then the cessation of suffering will surely follow from the complete fading away and ceasing of that very craving. It's abandoning, relinquishing, releasing, letting go. The cessation of craving is then the goal of the Buddhist path, and equivalent to the cessation of suffering, the highest happiness, nirvana.
Okay, thank you. And then you want to read the next paragraph? Yeah.
Okay. Nirvana is a difficult concept, but certain things about the traditional Buddhist understanding of nirvana are quite clear. Some of the confusion surrounding the concept arises, I think, from a failure to distinguish different dimensions of the use of the term nirvana in Buddhist literature. I want here to discuss nirvana in terms of three things. One, nirvana as, in some sense, a particular event, what happens at the moment of awakening. Nirvana. Let us examine this more closely.
Okay, and then next one.
Literally, nirvana means blowing out or extinguishing. Although Buddhist commentarial writings by a play on words, like to explain it as the absence of craving. But where English translations of Buddhist texts have he attains nirvana, parinirvana, the more characteristic Pali or Sanskrit idiom is a simple verb, he or she nirvanas, or more often, he or she parinirvanas, parinibbhayati. What the Pali and Sanskrit expression primarily indicates is the event or process of the extinction of the fires of greed, aversion, and delusion. At the moment the Buddha understood suffering, its rising, its cessation, and the path leading to its cessation, these fires were extinguished. This process is the same for all who reach awakening, and the early texts term it either nirvana or parinirvana, the complete blowing out or extinguishing of the fires of greed, aversion, and delusion. This is not a thing, but an event or experience.
Okay, thank you. And the next one? Yeah. Yeah, we are page 75 in the second paragraph. Yeah. Now we come to the third paragraph now. I think you let her read first. I mean, yeah, we go this way. Yeah.
After a being has it were nirvana, the defilements of greed, hatred, and delusion no longer arise in his or her mind, since they have been thoroughly rooted out. To switch to another metaphor also current in the tradition. Yet, like the Buddha, any person who attains nirvana does not remain thereafter forever absorbed in some transcendental state of mind. On the contrary, he or she continues to live in the world. He or she continues to think, speak, and act as others do, with the difference that all his or her thoughts, words, and deeds are completely free of the motivation of greed, aversion, and delusion, and motivated instead entirely by generosity, friendliness, and wisdom. This condition of having extinguished the defilements can be termed nirvana, with the remainder of life.
But anyway, Sobhati says nirvana. Yeah.
Nirvana.
Okay.
The nirvana that comes from ending the occurrence of the defilement
of the mind, yeah, kilesa.
What the Pali commentary call for short kilesa parinibbana. And this is what the Buddha achieved on the night of his awakening.
Okay, thank you. And I think we can, yeah, it's an interesting passage. Why don't you just read it? Continue, yeah, and yeah, you can quote. Yeah.
Eventually, the remainder of life will be exhausted, and like all beings, such a person must die. But unlike other beings who have not experienced nirvana, he or
nirvana. There is, however, a further dimension to the tradition's treatments and understanding of nirvana.
No, nirvana, okay. Nirvana.
Okay, what precisely does the mind experience at the moment when the fires of the greed, hatred, and delusions are finally
extinguished?
Yeah, extinguished. At the close of one of the works of the Pali canon entitled
Udana.
Udana, they are recorded several, often quoted, inspired, what is it?
Utterances.
Said to have been made by the Buddha's consent.
Yeah, if you want to read it, okay. No, but if you don't want, you can skip to other person. Okay. Anyone want to read there? No. Do you want to read? No. Okay. Yeah.
there is monks, a domain where there is no earth, no water, no fire, no wind, no sphere of infinite space, no sphere of nothingness, no sphere of infinite consciousness, no sphere of neither awareness nor non-awareness. There is not in this world. There is not another world. There is no sun or moon. I do not call this coming and going, nor standing, nor dying, nor being reborn. It is without support, without occurrence, without object. Just this is the end of suffering.
Okay. All right. Why don't we just read the next paragraph? We can stop there for a little while. Yeah. The next paragraph. You want to continue? Yeah.
Sure. This passage refers to the four elements that constitute this physical world, and also what the Buddhist tradition sees as the most subtle forms of consciousness possible, and suggests that there is a domain or sphere, a yatana, of experience of which these form no part. This domain or sphere of experience is nirvana. It may also be referred to as the unconditioned asamkata, or unconditioned realm, asamkata dukkha.
Dhatu, 不是读的.
Dhatu. In contrast to the shifting, unstable, unconditioned realm of the round of rebirth. For certain, Abhidhamma tradition at the moment of awakening, at the moment of the extinguishing of the fire of greed, hatred, and delusion, the mind knows this unconditioned realm directly. In the technical terminology of the Abhidhamma, Nibbana can be said to be the object of consciousness at the moment of awakening, when it sees the Four Truths. Thus, in the moment of awakening, when all craving and attachments are relinquished, one experiences the profoundest and ultimate truth about the world, and that experience is not a nothing. The mere absence of greed, hatred, and delusion, but of what can be termed the unconditioned.
Okay. All right. I think we can conclude the next one first. One more paragraph. You want to read it from the left? Yeah.
We can then understand Nirvana from the point of view.
3 points of view. Yeah.
3 points of view. One, it is the extinction of the defilement of greed, hatred, and delusion. 2, it is the final condition of the Buddha and Arhat after death, consequent upon the extinction of the defilements. 3, it is the unconditioned realm known as the moment of awakening. The critical question becomes the exact definition of the ontological status of 2 and 3. The earlier tradition tends to shy away from such definition, although, as we have seen, it is insistent on one point. One cannot say that the Arhat after death exists, does not exist, both exist and does not exist, neither exists nor does not exist. The ontological status of Nibbana thus defies neat categorization and is underdetermined.
Avyakrita.
Nonetheless, the followers of Sarvastivada Abhidhamma argue that Nirvana should be regarded as real.
Dravya.
While followers of the Theravada state that it should not be said to be non-existent, abhava, but for Sotrantikas. Yes?
Yeah.
Even this is to say too much. One should not say more than that Nibbana is the absence of the defilements. With the development of the Mahayana philosophical schools of Madhyamaka and Yogacara, we find attempts to articulate the ontology of Nirvana in different terms. The logic of emptiness, sunyata, and non-duality, avaya.
Avyaya. Advaya.
Advaya.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we can just stop here, and before we go further. All right. I think Rupert, firstly, well, anyway, usually if you understand the word nirvana, right, you could put in a radical way, something like just let go, let go. In other words, nirvana is something is a blowing off the defilements, many the defilements of like the hatred, the greed, and the delusion, right? And then, but then we can, at least from this book perspective, is nirvana. You can understand nirvana in three things. It's a kind of like nirvana is a particular event, or it's also it's a content of experience, and then it's also in some sense it's a state or condition enjoyed by the Buddhas and Arahants, right? But in other words, when we address the word nirvana, so when we are saying the nirvana, so we can understand in a way what we are talking about. Nirvana in some that we are talking about what the Buddha was enjoying, the nirvana, or enjoying by the Buddha or the Arahant, or when we say the Arahant, the nirvana as the event, a kind of like what happening, when the person, what kind of situation nirvana will occur, you could say, or would occur. And another is basically is and when that kind of situation occur, and that means the nirvana occurs. So how that person or how that what is it, something like that. So, but and then in original word, the nirvana, or if you look at the Sanskrit, nirvana is like blow something off, but that refer to. But actually, that we also have a simile, like, there was a question about, especially the people having a question about, basically, anyway, I don't want to put it that part now, because I think if I say that now, everybody will ask that question, so I'll forget that now. So anyway, just say nirvana is kind of like a candle when somebody blow the fire off, right? And then that means by the word there, that means nirvana, okay? That means the fire is extinguished. The root of supporting the fire to be extinguished is, gone. So, and then I think I will see whether your question and comment. But then we also must know. Then later you read that. But basically, when we say nirvana, even in early Buddhism, so you have like kilesa, what they call parinibbana, and the khandha parinibbana. Generally, when you say something facing to the nirvana with regard to the kilesa means the defilements, okay? Or somebody who are attending the parinibbana, or you could say facing to the parinibbana with regard to the khandha, mean the physical body. So one refer to. In other words, you could say when we say nirvana, generally you could also understand nirvana in terms of someone who attend the nirvana, that they have cut off all the defilements, right? So all the defilements been like fading away, been gone. So that's and the parinibbana or nirvana also can understand as a parinibbana with regard to the khandha parinibbana, mean that somebody who even actually, when we have a physical body, you still. Even though your mind is completely out of the hatred and delusion and those anything, when we talk about the suffering, remember the 8 kind of suffering in a gist, 5 aggregate is suffering, right? 5 aggregate, you mean that, these components of the body, the mental and the body is suffering. So, but then even the Buddha and Arahants, they attend the nirvana, or they have this kind of fading away, or they could cut off all the defilement, but still the physical body are there. So they were bound to be inflicted by illness, old age, and what do you call, then the death, right? So, but then when the Buddha attend the parinibbana, what we call the parinibbana regarding to the physical body, you could say, or the mental body and the physical body. So that means he also let go of the physical body and the mental body. So that's the final nirvana. Okay.
What does parinibbana mean?
Well, that's why parinibbana in general means you cut off. The word pari you can understand in many ways. Pari, the word you can understand as circumferences. Mean you are, or pari also can understand mean you are the nirvana like the nirvana encounter on what, you could translate that way. Pari, you could understand as like facing to, or you are kind of circumferences, mean kind of like you are investigating a certain thing on that object. So as a prefix, pari is a prefix in the language. Almost like in English, if you say, depends, because the pari have many meanings, but you could understand pari mean like round, or like going around. Like you could say round nirvana, quite, but what does it mean by that? And then, or you could understand the pari is a kind of like, towards, or, but like parinibbana, towards parinibbana, okay? But you can understand in a way mean the nibbana towards, what, the fading away, or you can extinguish of what, you could understand the pari as a prefix mean refer to what is the object, refer to facing to the khanda, mean the mental and physical body. Okay. Yeah.
English dictionary. The prefix pali, one of the definitions is denoting completion of a forward movement.
But that is also another meaning, yeah, okay. Anyway, so the parinirvana, generally we understand in Chinese called Paniepama, or Paniepan. So when you say Niepan, Paniepan, you heard about the term?
Is it your Niepan?
No. Yeah, that's the word Yuyiniepan is, Sopa Disesa Nirvana is Yuyiniepan, yeah. That's why I say Nirvana with the remainder, okay. So because when you say the Sopa Disesa Nirvana, I mean, with the remainder, you could understand, I mean, still have the remainder of the physical body and the mental body, okay. But we Niepan, domain. So in other words, mean then Niri Upadisesa Nirvana, right? So it means that because the Nibbana, the completion of Nibbana without the remainder of what? The physical body and the mental body, okay? And then of course, then even though Nibbana, it's somehow that's how early Buddhism generally understands. And then in the Udana, as a text did mention kind of the state of Nirvana, in a place that no water, no earth, no very subtle kind of consciousness exists too, So, and of course, because of this passage, actually become a lot of discussion comes on also, because then still people want to cling, if we say no, then what are they there, Because this is how we are. When you say something is no there, then we're thinking, what are they there, And also, if you become like affirmative kind of agreement, if you become affirmative statement, then that means what no mean, is it mean no? So also, right? But then also we must understand, actually, and also very often in the early Buddhism, the Nirvana, it's kind of defines neat category, and is kind of like, usually is something that we don't discuss. It's kind of something you call the avyakata. It means undetermined. 无记 in Chinese, okay? So you always find this term actually if you read some type of Buddhism. Uji is a kind of and then we will discuss that later if any questions. So it's always been understand. And then, but however, even though in the Nirvana in ontological status, in the ontological sense, ontological mean, we want to talk about something really, there's a kind of, even there's a kind of like a body, So when the Buddhism is that if you want to talk about the Nirvana body, the body of Nirvana, so it's always in early Buddhism, or especially in the Pali way, presented as like avyakata, mean the undetermined. But then in other school, like Sarvastivada school, it believed that actually the Nirvana do have the T, dravya. I don't want to write the wrong word. That's why in Chinese, because actually Chinese Buddhism, even though they learn, when I say Chinese Buddhism, particularly in the Chinese Mahayana Buddhism, they're actually not almost influenced by the Pali school, but they're influenced by the other, what we call the Sravaka school, the Hinayana school, called the Sarvastivadi. 根本说一吹有部，就说一吹有部啊。So that's why you do seems like they talk about 涅槃体，听到吗 ？Okay, but if that is definitely, if I was, let's say I was sitting here, listen to people talking about nirvana, if they talk about 涅槃体, I knew that. You don't have to tell me. I knew that he was learned from a Chinese, and he must be. If he learned anything about the what we call the Sravakayana's teaching, then I'm sure I'm sure he learned from Chinese, kind of influenced by that. Because in Pali learning, there's no such a thing at all. They don't have that concept at all. So the Nibbana always understand as a kind of avyakata, okay? That undetermined. But then...
Sorry, what does undetermined mean? I don't understand either undetermined or...
It's kind of like, you don't have to talk about it. Kind of like that. Don't say yes and don't say no. Something like that.
So like if someone asks you, have you reached Nirvana, you just don't talk about
No, that's a different thing. I mean, what is a Nirvana? Where is it? Where is a Nirvana? So you don't say, oh, Nirvana, or say, particularly mean, usually here they refer to Nirvana here, I mean, let's say someone who attained Nirvana, and then the physical body and the mental body is gone, right? We know that. Everybody agreed that. Then where? And where did it go? So into the Pali tradition, I would say the way to represent as the early Buddhism, then they would say it is something the Buddha never answered that, or in a kind of undetermined, or it's just a translation. Avyakata actually generally mean you don't have to reply. It's so that's why the famous simile is because they won't understand whatever you say, because they only have to, when you describe the nirvana state after they die, whatever you describe, they just think the way they thought that will represent the nirvana, which is never be close enough, something like that.
So it's just like undescribable.
No, undescribable. It's become very popular later on in Mahayana Buddhism, but it's not avyakata. That's called aboha. It's another you have to learn when you learn 无可说。怎么？In Mahayana, is always say that. Let me see how to use the word. 不可说，不可说，不可思议。Yeah. 来，不可说，不可说，不可思议。aboha. No, it's different term. What I want to say, that's why the book here, I mean, you don't have to really know everything at the moment. You just know definitely this is a big subject. But you have to understand at first, now, actually this is how the early Buddhists approach. But they did mention later, and the different schools have different way of representing. And in Mahayana, even though in the earlier time it looks like the Buddha didn't want to have any ontological discussion about nirvana, okay, but then later on, then that become an ontological discussion. And in Mahayana, actually, for example, this is I'm not represent all the Mahayana talk about that even. For example, now then in Chinese later on, it's also very famous. And sometimes the nirvana be understood as the almost pureness, right? 就是本心清净, for example. Okay, that is also kind of representing of the body of the nirvana. But those are, you could see that, I mean, you have to learn that that's how Buddhist philosophy comes along, right? In earlier, it's that approach, and later on, still that is a big subject to discuss about what are these nirvana bodies. And at least you have a few examples here. And then we can, I mean, I'm sure that we might have come to that discussion later. I mean, not later. I mean, when you will go on learn, at least you have a more structured way of understanding. You know, this is how Nirvana concept been developed. Another school, and the Sautrantika, which on the page 78, the first paragraph, right? Because in Theravada, if there's a way to understand what is the body of the Nirvana, another way they would say, no born, right? Not, 无有, not being. So, 无有, abhava, right? Remember, when you learn of the dependent origination, 十因缘, so you have to say bhava, you know, because of the craving, because of the contact, then you have sensation, because of, due to having a sensation, then you have the feelings, due to having a feeling, then you have craving, due to having a craving, you have becoming, due to having a becoming, then you have the existence. But then, of course, Nirvana cannot be have existence, otherwise, when you have any of the factors in the 12th link, that means then you have ignorance, right? I mean, we're sure that Nirvana have no ignorance, so you cannot have any factors to be there, you know, as kind of like a body. So that's why if there's an answer of Theravada, I would say Nirvana is in the state of the without, you know, being, okay, 无有. But then even that actually, you know, in early, a lot of the so-called, the early Buddhist, so-called Sravakayana school, have lots of debate on that too. And one of the debate is that one is a school called Sautrantika. The word Sautrantika, sutra, it means the people who hold in sutra as the authority. 就是经部 in Chinese, okay? Everyone can read that, right? Yeah. The Sautrantika, the Jinbu. They call it Jinbu because they are the one who do not believe in Abhidhamma that much. They only believe in Sutra as authority. The Sutra as authority. So, and then they will say, whatever you say, still does not represent the early Buddhist, like a Sutra saying. And anyone remember we have three Vitaka, right? Sutra, Vinaya, and Abhidhamma, right? They only rely on the Sutra. Other thing is not that important for them, and they think they come maybe later. So it's so another kind of like you could say kind of like Puritan. It's a Puritan in the sense of only believing in the early Buddhist Sutra. Okay, even this is, they say anything where you say, they say even this to say too much. One should not say more than the Nirvana is the absence of the defilement. That's it, because in the Sutra, it's always represent when you talk when the term Nirvana or the discussion Nirvana comes along, it's always talk about it's in the absence of defilement. So that's why anything that what Abhidhamma discussed it's not important. So okay.
So they don't believe in
Sautrantika, yeah, they don't believe what? No, they do have it, but they don't really take that seriously. Okay. No, Vinaya they have, but Vinaya usually have more story about, you know, the rules, about, you know, the rules for the community, and of course there are some other practice aspects as well, but it's not less philosophical discussion of teachings, right? Okay. So yeah, of course they still. But also there's a suspect actually, for example, like Asvakosa, and then some of the Dhammadipa, for example, the Fajujin, the text of Dhammadipa came along because of Sautrantika. So it's purely like they like story, they like only the teachings from the sutra, nothing else, you know. Yeah, that's that approach. Anyway, Madhyamika Yogacara have to articulate the ontology of Nirvana in different terms. In other words, sometimes, you know, even later I'm sure you know, in Madhyamika understood, so when the Buddha talk about the dependent arising, dependent origination, so the Buddha, according to the Madhyamika, like a Nagarjuna, Longshu, so what you're understanding, the Nirvana, mean the stage of really cut off all the defilement is the emptiness, sunyata, right? And then also another thing, which is a little bit close to the Madhyamika and some other two, is called 不二法, non-duality, 不二. Okay. Of course, those are Kong, the Kong and emptiness, and the Buddha as represent as mean the Nirvana body. So definitely this is also, you could say, from a Mahayana approach. But of course then, nowadays the scholar have argued also, do you really think Nagarjuna is Mahayana? Not necessarily. But anyway, that's another story. We are not going to talk that. But at least from the Chinese or from the Tibetan way of understanding, Nagarjuna definitely is Mahayana, okay? Even though it looks like, actually, Nagarjuna never talk about Mahayana. But, okay, that's another story. But so you can, so this is so far we understand that when you say that the Nirvana, so and what you understand the Nirvana, and also in the different times of in the different times, in the different period of the Buddhist philosophy, actually the Nirvana also can be described in a different way also. Okay, then you must have that kind of concept. Okay, now any comment, any question with what we have read first?
So I know we talked about Sarvastivada and Theravada are different schools, but like, what really is the difference between them?
Actually, even Sautrantika, Sarvastivada, and Theravada, they are the school. If for Mahayana, they belong to the Hinayana school. That's called Xiaochen Fojiao. Okay, they are all belong, but to be more precise. When you say Xiaochen Fojiao or the Hinayana school, from the angle of Mahayana, they actually almost refer to either Sautrantika or Sarvastivada. I mean, in terms of philosophy. So, in terms of the teaching, not necessarily they refer to the Pali. Okay? Okay. Because actually, among them, from a Mahayana perspective, among them, they belong to the Hinayana. I don't like to use the term Hinayana. That's why I changed the term called Stravakayana. Do you know what I'm talking actually? If you don't understand my Sanskrit, because unfortunately, if you learn Buddhism in English, those terms are the very basic terms. Just like you learn the Buddhism in Chinese, you somehow have to learn Niebhan. You don't say the word Yuanji. Yuanji is the translation word of Niebhan, but you don't use the word. You still have to use Niebhan. Niebhan as a Sanskrit word, right? 阿羅漢，對不對？you don't say 真人 in early translation. 阿羅漢 translated 真人. You don't do that. You say 阿羅漢 because actually 阿羅漢 is a Sanskrit word. Just same thing. When you learn Buddhism in English, you still have to remember some Pali term and Sanskrit term like Arahant, Nirvana, or Nibbana, all right? Or like the school name, Sarvastivada, Sautrantika, Theravada, okay? Those are the term you need to learn. What did I say? Okay, the Hinayana and Mahayana and Stravakayana. Let me just write this.
So you don't say Theravada?
No. I'm saying that you when you learn English, you have to. No, what do you mean? You don't say? I don't say Theravada.
You don't use the term of Hinayana, but you use the term of
Stravakayana. I don't like the term Hinayana.
How about Theravada? I mean, that's what I use.
No, it's not.
One of us of Theravada.
Usually, of course, this is a very confused term. I mean, when you say Hinayana, it means, the school, yana means school, okay, chen, or vehicle of the small vehicle. So you could, but that's how the term, of course, the Hinayana, as their school, they don't say they are the small vehicle. It's only because they've been accused as a small vehicle by Mahayana, okay? 这个也没有墨了。好了，这没有水。It's okay. So, you have that. It's okay, I will do it later. So, you have the term called Mahayana and Hinayana, but I don't like to call that Hinayana because those are the terms for people who like to accuse them as the inferior, as the law. In a negative thing, it's a kind of derogative term. And of course, I'm not going to use that term. Now, even as a scholar, you don't use that term too because, like you kind of like culturally, maybe in the past, something happened and then you say somebody's Negro, you don't use Negro, for example, right? You know the term is it's negative, so don't use that term. And I always tell people, don't always use that term now. We are in a modern time. The term, in old day, people like to talk whatever they like because nobody going to defend and know. But now they become very sensitive because what do you mean by what do you mean by these people are the Hinayana? Actually, they do a lot of good things, like more than them. So how do you define that? You know, Mahayana always think because they are more compassion. Because we said true. Now look at it. Now is it true? Who is more compassion? Right, like that. What do you mean by that? Of course, everybody agree that people have to be more compassion. And they think that we are more compassion. And they just put the name there, the Mahayana. So are they really Mahayana? So, okay. Anyway, so we have to be careful about that now.
So what do you say about